While teachers demand higher pay, students continue to demand safety in schools. The March for Our Lives brought hundreds of thousands to gun control rallies Saturday in Phoenix, Washington, and other cities across the country. While the chants have died down, some say the echoes of another era remain. Cronkite News reporter Austen Bundy brings us that story from our Washington bureau.
This was the scene at Saturday's March for Our Lives. Causing many, like Marsha Davis, to be reminded of this.
Protests against the war persisted.
I am a marcher of generations. I have been doing this march for so long, and I'm not giving up.
Michael Kazin, a history professor at Georgetown University, said comparing the March for Our Lives to civil rights and anti-Vietnam protests is valid in some senses, but not in others.
Well, the anti-Vietnam War protests and the civil rights protests were not young people were very involved in them, of course, but they were not movements which were led by young people.
A key difference, Kazin pointed out, was the speed in which the March for Our Lives movement was organized, unlike past movements.
It would have been very difficult, if not impossible, to organize a anti-Vietnam War march or civil rights march in only a month after some horrendous event took place, like the shootings in Florida.
But Kazin believes the location of the tragedy played a much bigger role in the massive support gathered for the gun reform march.
If this mass killing had happened in a rural high school in Kansas, where most people are supportive of gun rights and many people are hunters and support the Second Amendment as defined by the NRA, I think it's unlikely they would have been active in the same way.
But those who were inspired to turn out Saturday included Sherry Gillis, who hopes the new generation can succeed where previous ones failed.
But I am very encouraged to see that these young people understand what it means to be politically motivated, politically active, and to make change in this world, because certainly my generation failed to do that.
In Washington, Austen Bundy, Cronkite News.
One way to make that change could be at the ballot box, as organizers of the rallies made voter registration a focus of the events.